Hello, everyone. This is Angela. Hope all is well and you all are having a beautiful evening. I just came from outside, didn't really want to come inside because outside is so gorgeous. The new moon was on April the 5th, I believe. And to tell you the truth, it feels like to me that the full moon never left because every time that I go outside, it is so bright as if, the moon is still full, except for those rainy days and cloudy days. But this moon had a reservoir that lasted for quite some time. And tonight, the little moon that's basically on the bottom, you know, the little half or quarter moon uh, is upside down. It's laying flat rather, and the stars are so bright, and it looks so close as if you can touch it, really. So, if you haven't observed the moon tonight, you should go see it because it is so gorgeous. And we have a peephole in one of our bathrooms, so you can look up and look into the sky, but it's small. And I wish it was in my room, but I digress a little bit. What I wanted to do is come forth and do a brief share as she sips on her Tulsi tea, sweet rose, in my granite mug. This is really a tin mug, and it reminded me when I got it of the dipper and the cups we used to use in the country. And the water be so hot outside, and we have these tin cups, little tin cups that we drink out of or drink out of the dipper, and it made the water so cool. And I got my tea in it, pour it from the kettle and pour it in here. But it brings back so many memories, how much we used to fuss over the tin cups, and enjoying some hot tea, Tulsi tea, sweet rose, to help soothe and prepare for the night. Anyway, what I wanted to come forth and talk about a little bit is The Alchemist. And I read that book just late last year, around my birthday time, around November, December, I believe. I've been wanting to read it for the longest time. And I finally, was at the place where I wanted to read it, and I expected it to be a very thick book, but it was very thin. I was like, oh, okay. And I was doing a lot of other things, and at the time, so it took me about a week to read it because I was doing a little bit at a time. And but you could read it probably in 2 days. It's a very good read. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so deep, and I understand now why it's not a thick book because, this is the young shepherd's story, and we all have a story, and you get to fill in the blanks. And I love to read, and I can usually tell, and there's 2 ways, basically, I can tell right away if I'm going to like a book. First, if I connect with the author, which I did. And second, if I read the first page and if I feel a connection. And I did, and I said, this is going to be a good book. And the author of The Alchemist is Paulo Coelho. Hopefully I said that correctly. And he was born in Brazil, I believe. And this book he wrote was in 1988. And as I think about it, I'm thinking that is the year my grandmother died. I graduated from high school in 1987. And I believe my grandmother died in 1988. And 8 is significant for me because I was born on November the 8th. And 8 is not my number, but it's very significant for me, because it means infinite. And November, the 11th month, means the gateway. Gateway to infinity, is my name. So I identified with that right away as I read about the author. And when he wrote it at first, it wasn't doing much selling, of course, and he wasn't discouraged. And soon afterwards, it was originally written in Portuguese, and then it was spread throughout, I believe, 80 countries. And then it sold out, like, I believe, 800,000 copies or 80,000 copies in different languages, and I believe he's in the Guinness World Records of being the most sold book of an author that's still living. So that was very impressive. So I knew right away that this book is going to be something special, is how it resonated with me. And then I read on that it only took him 2 weeks to write the book. So he already had a story in mind. And if you really think about it, all of us have a story. And we all have a story to share and to learn from. And basically, this book is what we call metaphoric. It is also a parable. It's a story that's supposed to teach a lesson. And that resonated with me as well, because that's how I like to learn. And I'm always in the learning phase, continuing to learn about myself. I'm a student more than I am a teacher. And that's how I like to teach and share. And hopefully, when I go back and look at my videos, I learn more and more about myself. So that was very key. So I knew this was going to be a great lesson for me to get. And so as I read the book, like I said, it was a very easy read, and I enjoyed the story about this shepherd, and we all are shepherds, right? That was on a journey to find the treasures at the pyramids in Egypt. And that resonated with me. I was like, oh my goodness, this is my story. I was like, when I finished reading the book, I was like, I just wrote this book. This is my story. I've so resonated with it. And it was so many synchronicities that, of course, I'm going to read it again. And I'm sure I'll get a different lesson from it. But I would recommend this book to anyone. And I tried to get my kids to read it, of course. But they said you can look at it on Audibles. I was like, I don't want to listen to an Audible book. I want to read. By the way, this is the shape of the moon, except it's upside down like this tonight, by the way. And I just got so much from this book by reading it with my own eyes, because it connects with your brain, your third eye, your limbic system, and it just does something to your life, adds into your life lesson, I believe. There was so many things I took away from this, but I'll share a couple while I'm thinking about it without basically telling you the story, so you can read about this shepherd's adventure. And this book has been designed different covers, and this is the 25th edition. So, of course, this book looks different. But two strong things that I got from this book. And one is, when you want something, the universe conspires to get it with you so that you can achieve it. And that's so true in so many levels. I can give just two examples real briefly. One about me getting into college and my guidance counselor telling me that I shouldn't go and I can't go and I won't be accepted. And me wanting to go, I'll write the chancellor. And in my line to graduate, and after I'm thinking I'm not going to college, I receive a letter that says that I'm more than qualified and they're going to pay for my whole tuition. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but fate and destiny led me there. And so I did go to the college, and I shared that story on one of my videos. And, when something is for you, it's for you, and the universe will conspire and get it for you. And one is I like to share real briefly also is a crush I had on this young man when I was in middle school up until I graduated. I had the biggest crush on him that anybody in the world could have. But long story short, in my late 40s, I finally meet up with him, and we have a short relationship because, as I shared before, he passed away. But I had a relationship with him, and it was wonderful for a short time that it did last. And I did share that story as well. So that's another example about destiny and fate. Fate is what's going to happen no matter what, and destiny is your heart's desire. But the most important part is the journey that you go along the way for the life lessons. So we're all going to transition one day, but we don't want to focus on that. We want to enjoy the journey as we get there. And another something I took away from it is true love is aligned with your purpose. So the people or places and things that love you no matter what. They don't try to deter you. They don't discourage you. They support you even if they're not with you. And then another that I like to use is that, I am not here. None of us are here for a long time, but I am here for a good time. And you have to keep that in mind, that life is so very short. It's sort of like looking at the life of a butterfly. Looking at the life of a dog is so short. But, the watchers that watch us say the same thing about us humans as well. And that's something I feel very profound to really think about. And then open your treasures within. Whatever our heart's desires, we already have it. We are already it, And that's what we need to focus on, the treasures within. What are your heart's desires? What is it that you have to give to the world? What is it that you have to share? And those are just a couple of things that I got from this book, The Alchemist. Believe it or not, this book is already within all of us, and we all have a story. And it's just so profound, this short little book, how much it resonates with so many people. And we all have a story to share if we so choose. And I'll let it be at that for now. But let me show you this real quickly. This is my capora, my dung beetle. And I talk about dung beetles a lot. But I shared the story of the eclipse. And this is what the resurrection video. I shared this story, and it's broken now. But I was looking for a necklace. I wanted one with the wings and the rising with the sun. So I wanted that because it signifies, rebirth, renewal. So I wanted the winged one. So I'm looking through it, and I see all these beautiful ones, and I was like, yes, that's the one I want. And then I clicked on it to purchase it, and it went to this. I was like, no, that's not the one I want. And so I do it again, and it kept coming right back to this one. So I said, okay, all right. That means something wants me to get this one. So that's what I did. And I guess this signifies, that I still have work to do before I get my wings. But it's made out of lapis lazuli, and it's a stone that really incorporates, and I have this piece that I've had for a while. It's a stone that incorporates, the lapis, some calcite, and some pyrite. And it is very much so associated with ancient Egypt. King Tut was buried with it. Women used to crush it and use it as eyeshadow. It is the governing. It is the stone of the gods and goddesses. And I told you about the word gods and goddesses, but it doesn't mean worship. certain people, places, and things. And yes, I do believe in the supreme being, God, etc. But I'm not going to get off the subject. But this is made from lapis lazuli, and it looks like it was excavated from the Valley of the Kings itself. If you look at it, it still has a little dirt and things on it. And I borrowed this from another chain I have, but I want it in copper, as the necklace. And like I said, lapis lazuli is a very popular stone among the ancient Egyptians. They were buried with it. They carry it with them. It helps them to verbally express themselves, and it's the stone of truth. It is associated with the throat chakra. It is the stone of the goddess Aset, known to some as Isis, but it's the healing stone, and it helps you to focus in and align with your highest self. And I just want to briefly share a little bit about lapis lazuli, and I'll again someday come back and share a little bit more about lapis lazuli, the stone of honesty, truth, and the stone of the gods and goddesses in my kepara. Anyway, isn't that something? There are no coincidences. Anyway, thanks for visiting the city, and I hope you all have a great evening. Go and check out the moon. It's gorgeous. Thanks.